It sits there mounted beside the front door, a small, unassuming piece of plastic and glass. It watches. It waits. It records. We buy them for security, to see who's at the door, to feel safer when we're away. We think of them as our digital guard dogs, silently observing our quiet suburban streets. But sometimes these little cameras capture more than we expect. They become silent witnesses to secrets, lies, and truths that never fade. In a world full of cameras, it's the ones we forget about that tell the most compelling tales. Always on, always watching. They see what we do when we think no one is looking. For one family, in one peaceful town, a neighbor's doorbell camera was about to become the star of a drama no one saw coming. It began with fear, a child gone missing. The call to the police was every parent's nightmare, a child snatched, vanished. Amber alerts lit up phones. The community held its breath. They searched for a boy named Noah Pike and for a monster. But what if the monster wasn't who they thought? What if the truth was stranger, hiding in plain sight? Our story doesn't start with a crime, but with a piece of technology, a simple doorbell camera. Designed for peace of mind, it would do something else entirely. It would peel back the layers of fiction, revealing a truth more bizarre and human than anyone imagined. The camera was about to have its day in court, and it had quite a story to tell. This is that story. It was a Tuesday morning, ordinary, forgettable. The sun was up, the birds were singing, and the neighborhood was just beginning to stir. Then, panic. The first 911 call painted a terrifying picture. Noah Pike, just a boy, was gone. His family said he'd been taken, abducted right from his own street. A dark van, a struggle, and then nothing. Just an empty sidewalk. Police responded immediately. Sirens shattered the calm. Officers canvassed the area, K9 units searched, the FBI was called in. Noah's face was everywhere, TV, social media, flyers. Find Noah Pike. That was the mission. The community rallied. Volunteers searched fields, woods, and backyards. They brought food, offered prayers, and supported the family. It was a portrait of a town united in fear and hope. But as hours passed, unease crept in. The search was exhaustive, but turned up nothing. No backpack, no scuff marks, no witnesses. It was as if the abduction had happened in a vacuum, and that was very strange. The story gripped everyone, but the facts just didn't add up. The longer Noah was missing, the more the mystery deepened. The community waited, desperate for answers. But the truth was about to take a very unexpected turn, and it all started with a camera. Detectives are trained to listen, not just to words, but to what's missing. As they heard the story of Noah Pike's abduction, the details didn't add up. The timeline was fuzzy. The family's account shifted with each retelling. Small details matter in cases like this. They're the threads that hold a story together. But the scene of the supposed abduction was pristine, too pristine. No scuff marks, no dropped backpack, no evidence of a struggle. It was a blank canvas where chaos should have left a mark. Then there were the witnesses, or rather, the lack of them. On a Tuesday morning, someone should have seen something, but door after door, the answer was the same. No, I didn't see a thing. It was as if the event had been invisible. Even the family's grief, though real, began to show cracks under questioning. Their stories didn't line up. The confusion felt rehearsed, not traumatized. Detectives couldn't quite put their finger on it, but the feeling was undeniable. The story was full of holes. It was starting to look less like a tragedy and more like a fabrication. The search for a missing boy was becoming a search for the truth, and the truth was about to be revealed by an unlikely witness. The neighborhood's digital eyes were about to speak, and they would change everything. The investigation was about to take a sharp turn. The real story was hiding in plain sight, and the cameras were about to show it. In the past, solving a crime depended on human memory. But now, every house is a potential witness, thanks to doorbell cameras. Detectives, sensing inconsistencies, turned to these digital eyes. They went door to door, collecting footage instead of statements. Hours of video from dozens of homes created a digital map of the morning. They searched for a dark van, a struggle, any sign of abduction. Instead, they found ordinary moments: a mail truck, a neighbor leaving for work, a squirrel on a lawn. But together, these mundane clips formed a powerful, continuous record. Analysts watched, fast-forwarding and rewinding, searching for the truth. And soon, they would find something explosive. One analyst, staring at a grainy screen, saw it first. The footage was from a house 3 doors down from the Pikes. It showed the street and the spot where the abduction supposedly happened. The timestamp matched the alleged kidnapping. There was Noah, walking calmly, backpack on, not running, not scared, no van, no struggle, just a boy, turning a corner and disappearing from view. The footage was clear and undeniable. It contradicted every detail of the terrifying story. The analyst called over a supervisor. They watched it again and again. The kidnapping, as described, simply didn't happen. The camera had just blown the case wide open. The frantic search for a predator stopped. A new question emerged. What was really going on? The story that had consumed the town was a lie. The camera doesn't lie. It just records what it sees. And what it saw was not a kidnapping. It saw a boy walking. The detectives now knew the truth. The abduction was a fabrication. The only question left: why? And where was Noah Pike? With the footage in hand, investigators built a digital timeline. The case shifted from finding a kidnapper to tracking Noah's real movements. Camera after camera showed him walking calmly, checking his phone, heading toward the woods. No distress, no chase, just a boy on a mission. The final camera showed Noah entering the woods, alone and unhurried. The evidence was irrefutable. Noah had staged his own disappearance. The massive search, the Amber Alerts, the fear, it was all built on a lie. The technology meant to protect the neighborhood had exposed the truth. The unblinking eyes of the doorbell cameras had pieced together the real story. The timeline was complete. Now it was time to ask, why? With the house solved, detectives turned to the hardest question. Why? Why would a boy put his family and community through this ordeal? Was it pressure, a cry for help, or a desperate need for attention? In a world obsessed with social media and notoriety, some will do anything to be seen. Maybe it was stress, family issues, or a prank gone too far. The true motive might never be fully known, but the consequences were real: wasted resources, fear, and broken trust. The question of why is fascinating, but it doesn't erase the damage. Noah's actions had real-world impact, and the community would never be the same. Once the hoax was confirmed, everything changed. Detectives found Noah in the woods, safe but in trouble. The reunion with his family was tense, not joyful. The truth rippled through the community, turning sympathy into anger and confusion. Volunteers felt betrayed, neighbors deceived. The story of the brave missing boy became the story of the boy who cried wolf. Law enforcement shifted from rescue to accountability. Staging a crime is a serious offense, not a harmless prank. Charges were filed, and the Pike family retreated from public view. The news cameras now documented the fallout, not a happy ending. The fear of a stranger was gone, replaced by a deeper unease. The real danger had come from within. The Noah Pike case will be remembered for what it teaches us about our modern world. In an age of technology, the truth has more ways to come to light than ever before. Doorbell cameras are silent, impartial witnesses, creating a world with fewer places to hide. This is the new reality of criminal investigation. Technology raises questions about privacy, but in cases like this, it's hard to argue with the results. Without those cameras, the lie might have lasted for weeks. The footage provided a swift, factual end to the charade. It's a cautionary tale. In the 21st century, your lie will be tested by digital eyes that never blink. The timeline from multiple cameras can provide an irrefutable account. The story began with a terrifying lie and ended with a digital reckoning. Technology can be used to deceive, but it's an even more powerful tool for revealing the truth. The unblinking eye saw a boy walking, not a boy being taken. And in that simple fact, it unraveled a fiction and solved a case.